Good morning, my friends. It's Julie Jules Caldwell coming to you live. It is Sunday, September 4th, and I've been percolating a little bit on the upcoming Ignite 2022 conference and realizing I introduced you to all of these amazing women who are going to be speaking at the conference, and I haven't really let you know who I am. So, what I would like to do for the next few days is I'm going to do a bit of a series called Introducing Jules. I want to give you an understanding of who I am, how Ignite 2022 came to be, and how it was designed with each of the sessions in mind. So I hope you'll join me over the next couple of days. I'll come live. Haven't got a specific time. I just kind of go when the mood hits, but hopefully you can follow along when I'm live, or you can join me on hashtag replay and leave your comments. I would love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear your comments and engage with you a little bit as we go around. But for today, the intention of today's session is who is Jules and why Ignite 2022? So this is always a tough one when people ask me this. Who is Julie? Well, as you all know, I've been introducing myself as Julie or Jules Caldwell. My given name is Julie Caldwell. And I've always sort of struggled a little bit with my name, Julie. Sorry, Mom, I know you picked it, and it is beautiful, but I've always struggled with it a little bit. And part of that has been my own, what is my identity? And so over the last few years, I've spent a lot of time, thank you, COVID, for giving me a lot more time, to really get clear on who I am and what I love and what I want to do. And back in 2017, unfortunately, I separated from my husband and we eventually got divorced. And so I spent a lot of time really just stepping back and asking myself, who am I? What are my hopes? What are my dreams? What do I want to do in my life? And who am I? Somewhere along my journey, I'd lost myself. I had picked up roles and titles like a mom and a daughter and a friend and a colleague and all of these different roles. And every time I did that, a little more of me disappeared. And at the Ignite conference, I'll tell you a little bit more about my journey into how I lost myself along my way. But for today, what happened over the last few years is as I started asking myself those questions and really stopping and listening for the answers and trying to learn and rediscover who I was. I came back to my roots. I did a trip out west with my daughter in 2019, and we went to Calgary and Edmonton and Jasper and Kamloops and Vancouver and Kelowna and back to Calgary. And I grew up in that area for a very long time. And when I went back to the mountains, it was just like oh my goodness, I am home. And I had been living in all of these different places. I had a great life, really can't complain about it. And I wasn't being true to who I was. And so in the Rocky Mountains, out in BC and in Calgary, I kind of rediscovered who I am. I'm a country girl at heart. I grew up, my grandfather had a dairy farm. I lived in BC and we had a hobby farm, a pig farm with over 300 pigs and a ton of horses, and we rode in the mountains, and we just did all sorts of fun stuff. And then life happened, and I kind of got lost along the way. And so I rediscovered who Jules was, or who Julie was, and I'm a country girl, and I've got a bunch of really amazing friends, many of whom are speaking at Ignite, very intentionally planned that way. And they started calling me Jules. And they saw something inside me that I didn't see at the time. And I actually resisted the name Jules. But they persisted. They were consistent with it. They saw something in me that I just couldn't see. And when I had this connection with the country and started really rediscovering who I was and what I wanted, that's when Country Jewel came to be. And I adopted the nickname Jules. All of my really close friends call me that, and I hope that you'll call me that as well. And I see some of them here online. Virginia, good morning. And Patricia, so glad you could be here. Um, So yeah, I became Jules. I've adopted it. I now love it. And it's truly reflective of who I was. And so over the last couple of years, that's right, Virginia, Country Jules, I just really honed in on country and jewels, and that's where my heart is. And that's how my business started, Country Jewel Retreats and Conferences, which then brings me into, well, where did Ignite 2022 come from? Ignite 2022 came from this place of, I love process. I love structure. I love taking action. I love having a plan for how to do things. And so every time I was in a place in transition in my life, I stopped and was like, okay, how am I going to do this? What's my plan for how to do this? Now, I don't follow plans perfectly, let's be clear. But I always create these plans and these templates. And over the years, I've come up with sort of a model, if you call it, a blueprint for success that sort of helped me stop and percolate and understand what was the next step I needed to do. What was the one next step I needed to do? And so over the last sort of 5-6 years, as I've picked my life up and put all the pieces back together in it, and really got clear on who I was, my good friend Virginia, who's on with us this morning, she started calling me the Clarity Queen. I resisted that for a long time as well, but it was about getting clarity. And so I thought, you know what? I've done this journey. I've put this model in place for myself, all of these tools and resources that I've used for myself. And I thought, I want to do something to help other women as well. Because I think, you know what? We're not alone. And so, who's Jules and why Ignite 2022? Ignite 2022 is really about women coming together and linking arms. For so much of my life, not even just my recent journey, but my life, I thought I was alone. I thought I was different. I thought there was something wrong with me for the things that I was feeling or experiencing, or the fears or the anxieties. And as I started to open up and to trust and to share, I heard and started listening, not just hearing, but listening the words that people were saying. I recognized I wasn't alone. And so as I built this model for my business, I realized that I wanted other women to come together and to realize that we're not alone. And, you know, there are some amazing women who are doing phenomenal things in the world. And then there are mothers, there are daughters, there are wives, there are coworkers, there are friends, cousins, all of these, you know, titles that we have. And we're all no different. We're all no different. We're women just trying to live our lives. We're human beings just trying to live our lives. And sometimes our fear and our emotions get in the way, and that keeps us from actually taking a step forward. And so, because I'm very process oriented, very action oriented, I wanted to design a day where women could, number one, come together and realize that they're not alone on their journey, right? We're all going through our own trials and tribulations and struggles. I wanted to remind women that we are beautiful, that we are valuable, that we are strong, and that we can overcome. It's not going to be easy. There will be many challenges and many obstacles. And let me tell you, one of the biggest lessons I've learned on my journey is that sometimes not making a choice is making a choice. And that's delayed me. Like, okay, let me say that one more time. Not making a choice is making a choice. That was a mic drop moment for me when I recognized that I was my own worst enemy, and that I let my fear of indecision, of failure, to really just stop me from moving ahead. And so Ignite 2022 is about bringing women together, linking arms, reminding ourselves that how beautiful and how valuable we are, and we are not alone on our journey. And what I want to do by the end of the day is for the women who come to this event to hear from others, to feel motivated and inspired. And yes, we want that, right? We want to feel motivated and inspired, but I'm an action girl, remember? So I don't want women to just walk away from Ignite feeling motivated and inspired. Of course, I want that to happen, but I want you to feel like you are ignited, on fire, reminded of what that little thing is deep down inside that we've lost along the way, that we've pushed to the bottom as we've taken on all of these different roles and responsibilities. By the end of the day at Ignite 2022, I want the women who are there to be reminded of that little spark that they've buried deep inside. And they're like, you know what? I have no choice. I need to do this. If I don't do this, I'm going to go numb inside. And so for that spark to be ignited, and to have a plan in place. So one of the things I'm working on for everybody who will be attending for the day is a mini blueprint for success. What do I take with what I've learned from the day? I'm motivated, I'm inspired, I'm excited. And we tend to walk away and it lasts for a few days or a few weeks, but then nothing more comes of it. Well, being the action gal that I am, I want you to have a blueprint that you take away. So you have all these amazing experiences in the day, probably some very emotional experiences, because there will be some good hard-hitting questions that are kind of they'll make you stop and go, what? Okay. I hadn't really thought about that. Or, hey, I've been avoiding thinking about that. But then we take it and we write it down. The first 40 women who are coming are getting a gift of a journal with purpose by Chrissy Girl. I'm going to have a mini blueprint for success for everybody that they can fill out as they go, so that by the end of the day, there is a plan. What's the next one step that you're going to take to move forward, to keep that light ignited inside? So folks, wow, that was just, I got on fire. I needed that this morning, actually. I needed to come to you and I needed to remind myself that I can't hide anymore. I need to listen to that still small voice that's inside. That's the only way I'm being true to myself. And so that's what Ignite is. That's who Country Jewels is. That's who Jules is. I'm just a gal who's trying to get her life on track, who has dreams and hopes and visions that have been planted deep inside, and I'm letting them come out. I'm cultivating them, and I want to do it with you. I want to do it with other women who are standing at a crossroad and not sure where to go or what to do next. And so the next time we come together, I'll come back to you tomorrow. Let me give you a taste of what a couple of the different things that we're going to talk about over the next few days. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk to you about what is a crossroad and what do you mean when you say standing at a crossroad. So I'm going to tell you about my standing at a crossroad and what that journey was like, and what that means for those of you that might be coming to Ignite. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the sessions that are planned within Ignite. And we heard each of the speakers over the last week or two talk about themselves and a little bit of a tease about what they're going to talk about at Ignite. But I'm going to share with you why I picked that session and why I picked those women who are going to come and share during their sessions at Ignite. So you'll hear about why I picked Getting to the Heart of the Matter, why I picked Moments of Movement. So Getting to the Heart of the Matter with Suzanne Hart. You'll hear about why I picked Moments of Movement with Virginia Dawson. You'll hear about why I asked our former mayor of Gloucester, Claudette Kane-Kulas, to lead our Beautiful Voices panel discussion. And you'll hear why I asked my good friend Yetta Decker to lead a session called Living, Loving, and Laughing with Purpose and Passion in Life. So my friends, thank you for letting me share a little bit about you. This is super vulnerable for me, something that's not normally something I would do. And I just feel so called to do this and to share. So I hope you can make it. We're just about 10 days away from Ignite 2022. There are still some spaces remaining. You can go to countryjewel.ca, look for conferences, and find out more about each of the speakers, what's happening at the event, and you can register. Or you can go to Eventbrite and look up Ignite, #Ignite 2022, and register from there as well. So that's it, my friends. I hope you have a spectacular rest of the day in living and loving the life we live. Let's go live the life we were meant to live. Have a great day.